Throughout history, man has sought to become the equals of God, to know what God knows, and do as God does. Science and technology is just one manifestation of man's never-ending pursuit for mastery over his environment. And for the Illuminati specifically, life extension technologies and total information awareness serve to bridge the gap between themselves and godhood. But there is another road to godhood, a road the Illuminati are all too familiar with, whose existence is one of their most closely guarded secrets, and that's transformation into the body of light. Utilizing both technology and magic, the Illuminati intend on completing the process of self-deification. Transformation into the body of light has been a ritual practice in all parts of the world for thousands of years, and still only the privileged elite even know of its existence. It goes under many names, but its most well-known alias is George Lucas's Jedi. The Jedi, or the Jedi, was a secretive order of magicians in ancient Egypt who had been transformed into new kinds of beings with magical abilities. The uraeus, the serpent-adorned headpiece that was often seen on Egyptian pharaohs and gods, was a symbol of those who had undergone this ritual. The serpent was placed over the forehead because the forehead was the location of the third eye. The serpent was used because it symbolized those who had their kundalini, or inner serpent, raised from the base of their spine up through the chakras and placed into their foreheads. Djed means spinal column. In this ancient rite, the initiate would be led blindfolded into the very center of the Great Pyramid at Giza, where they would lay into a sarcophagus, which is like a giant coffin. From there, while clinically dead, certain incantations are said over the coffin. 3 days later, the person would be reborn as a Jedi, with abilities that we would associate with powerful magicians. Afterwards, they experience the world through the eyes and abilities of a spirit, yet still have flesh. They could create objects at will, move objects from afar, move at incredible speeds, have extrasensory perception, telepathy, the ability to see spirits, and also complete control of their astral bodies, allowing them to tear their soul away from its fleshly encasing at will and send their astral bodies to distant places in the universe. Today, this ritual of the body transformation is reenacted by the Masons and Skull and Bones. In fact, you've seen it before. When somebody is initiated into the 33rd degree of Freemasonry, they are blindfolded and lowered into a pyramid. After the initiate has taken the oath, his mask is removed and he quote-unquote receives the light. But this is not just a figurative light of knowledge, but reborn in literal light. Alan Moore's film, From Hell, starring Johnny Depp, is about an investigator who smokes opium to receive visions of the future and past. Against him is a series of murders perpetrated and concealed by the Freemasons, who occupy all the significant seats of power in 19th century London. The movie, aside from countless Masonic compasses and all-seeing eyes, depicts a reenactment of this most secretive ritual.
Let the brother receive the light.
At Yale University's Skull and Bones, initiates are placed in a coffin, where they reveal their deepest secrets, and are afterwards told that they are reborn as bonesmen. They are also told that they are now superior to Earth's human population, and use war and suffering to control the planet. In movies like The Skulls, this ritual is cryptically depicted as the main character, a new initiate to the Skulls, is asked whether he is ready to be reborn, after which he is drugged and wakes up in a coffin along with other prospective Skull and Bone initiates.
Hello?
Are you ready to be reborn?
Many terms that I believe are really just alternative names of this transformation and its recipients are the reborn, the black flame, those who have risen, the resurrected, assuming God form, self-deification, the Black Pilgrimage, the Oath, the Dragon Body, the Initiated, the Vampire, Warlocks, Druids, and of course, the Jedi. This conversion usually happens in large structures like pyramids and on ley lines. The Masons and the Illuminati have long used the phoenix in their symbolism. This is because the phoenix is a symbol of death and rebirth. In 1993's Warlock, the Armageddon, this ritual is nakedly displayed as the main character, Kenny Travis, is deliberately killed by his father so that he may be brought back to life with magical powers.
I didn't ask you to shoot me.
Like the phoenix rising from the ashes, the warrior rises from his own death.
2 days ago, my dad shot me. Dead. And then he brought me back to life, so now I'm like this walking zombie.
Then, his girlfriend and daughter of the town preacher insists on undergoing the same ritual so that she may fight at his side with similar abilities.
I have to be reborn.
There's only one way.
I know.
One book that mentions the Jedi, and the many names they've had throughout the centuries, is called The Return of the Serpents of Wisdom. The book's main focus is the reverence for serpents that exists in each human culture and how the gods have always been associated with the serpent. Mankind's relationship with the reptile is indeed a strange one. Humans have a natural aversion to reptiles. There are few creatures we would sooner kill in order to spare the life of a snake. Dogs, cats, bunny rabbits, dolphins. In fact, humans more often than not would rather see a snake die than just about any mammal on the planet. And yet, humans have, since ancient times, venerated the serpent and associated it with wisdom, godly powers, and the gods themselves. Even Jesus said to be as wise as serpents, while every other reference of the serpent in the Bible was unanimously negative. The return of the serpents of wisdom is kinda new agey, so the wise step lightly. But the book's cover is quite revealing. You have a body made of fire, receiving energy from two all-seeing eyes inside of pyramids, hovering above with the help of what appears to be the wings of the phoenix. Inside of the transformed man, the caduceus, or twin serpents. A picture truly is worth 1,000 words. But here's another picture that's worth 1,000 words. It's a card from Steve Jackson's card game Illuminati, the game of conspiracy. The card's name is Unmasked, and the caption below reads, "There is a secret of our cabal that even you of the 12th Circle have not known until now." Now, to understand the magnitude of this card, you need a bit of context. Take a look at some of the other cards in Steve Jackson's card game. This card game, whose final goal is world domination, was created by an admitted magician named Steve Jackson. In 1990, Steve Jackson's company was raided by the Secret Service, and 3 years later, he would create a website hosting company called Illuminati Online. In 1995, the card game was released, and later in 1999, George Bush's presidential campaign website was hosted by Steve Jackson's Illuminati Online. The game has hundreds of cards like this, and now that you have a taste of what those other cards must look like, ask yourself why Steve Jackson has a card for every person, method, technology, and organization the Illuminati have ever used, letting it all hang out with pyramids, all-seeing eyes, and 666 everywhere. And yet, this card means seemingly nothing, and yet claims to show one of their cabal's most deepest secrets. That's because it does, my friends. So much so that even in Steve Jackson's shameless card game, he remains vague, so that only those who should know the card's meaning do know the card's meaning. Most of us are familiar with the theme of a devilish version of oneself sitting on one shoulder while their angelic copy sitting on the other. But there's a thread of truth to this. Each person is assigned both a demon counterpart and an angelic counterpart. The demon counterpart whispers dark thoughts into the mind, encouraging it to do evil, while the angelic counterpart, or guardian angel, encourages you to do righteous things and protects you from things unseen. This transformation of the body involves the merger of yourself, your demonic, and your angelic counterpart into a single body. In previous documentaries like Hollywood Insider's Full Disclosure, I've accused George Lucas of not only taking characters from religions and mythology, but also of having reversed the heroes and villains. A documentary called The Illuminati, for instance, had a clip of Jordan Maxwell claiming that Freemasons actually believe in a character called Yoda and receive guidance from him. Unfortunately, and as usual, Maxwell failed to report where he got this information. He also claimed that the quote-unquote reference works he was citing from could be found in any library, which is absolutely false. Still, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Then you have Darth Vader, who I claimed was actually Jesus Christ. Among the many parallels between the life of Darth Vader and Jesus were, he was immaculately conceived, storms a temple, declared the chosen one, and then rejected, becomes the leader of a large army, among many more. I also spoke about Chewbacca actually being Al-Jassasa, who is a hairy beast that, according to Islam, is friends with the Antichrist. Further, I accused Han Solo of being that Antichrist. No time to explain. And now, we can add Jedi to the pile. The book The Return of the Serpents of Wisdom, just like George Lucas, also claims that Jesus Christ was a Jedi. But don't listen to me. Here's George Lucas telling you where he gets his stories from.
I notice in The Phantom Menace, the new episode 1, that they discovered this slave child who has an aura about him. And it reminded me of how the Buddhists go out to look for the next Dalai Lama.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's, again, a mixture of all kinds of mythology and religious beliefs that have been amalgamated into the movie. I didn't want to invent a religion. I wanted to try to explain in a different way the religions that have already existed.
You're creating a new myth.
Well, I'm telling an old myth in a new way. I'm telling an old myth in a new way. I'm telling an old myth in a new way. I'm telling an old myth in a new way.
There are three main types of spirits: angels, demons, and elementals. Angels, like demons and elementals, can be conjured, invoked, and communicated with. Angels are mostly benevolent and are sometimes unwilling to execute evil commands because they, like all spirits, prefer doing tasks that are similar to their personality. Most, but not all demons are spirits trapped in a bottomless pit, while other demons are free-roaming and take pleasure in being sent off to do evil. Elementals are spirits who are neither exclusively bad or exclusively good and roam the earth freely. They too can be conjured and instructed to complete certain tasks. Almost all spirits, with maybe the exception of elementals, exist in a strict hierarchy. One must also be careful to never assign a spirit to do what is outside of their power or intellect. Spirits, like us, also have gender. Spirits view the earth as a three-dimensional living environment. Multitudes of spirits live in the sky, the ocean, underground, and even among us in our own homes. Most spirits insist on living in deserted places where no humans walk. Regardless of their type, spirits, like humans, have their own personality. Some are pleasant, while others are forever hostile to each other and mankind. Even spirits with extremely low intelligence may be capable of remembering all that they have ever seen in their hundreds, if not thousands of years.